the Board of Trustees meeting for February 28th. I have the invocation by Secretary Brandon Barty, followed by the pledges of the United States and Texas flags and roll call. Secretary Barty.
Yes, we bow our heads. Our most gracious and heavenly Father, we come to you, Lord God, today. Thank you for this day, Father God. We thank you for Florida Independent School District staff, students, and faculty, Father God. We ask that you would come into the midst, Father God, that we make the decisions best for our kids of this district. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Mrs. Davis, if you'll please call the roll.
President Ambrose,
Here.
Vice President Brown,
Here.
Secretary Barty,
Here.
Trustee Frank,
Here.
Trustee Johnson, Trustee Lofton,
Here.
Trustee Reed.
Thank you. Our mission statement. Our mission is a primary source of public education in the community is to meet the unique educational needs of our diverse population by providing a comprehensive quality education for the students of the Port Arthur Independent School District. We will now have a public hearing on the Texas Academic Performance Report.
Thank you, President Ambrose. We are pleased to deliver to you tonight the TAPER report, as we call. I would like to commend our staff and students for working extremely hard based on the data that was received for the 2018. Remember, this information is last year's information. We have disseminated that to you. You all have those items. We just have to do it for the public. So that is what we do tonight, but everything is the same. Nothing has changed since last year. So we are grateful for staff that has prepared a lot of professional development for this year for our teachers and leaders at the school. It's just good to see how they're working, and they are working extremely hard. It's been a pretty calm year thus far, I guess, because when you compare it to last year, I think anything would be calm. But it's going really, really well. So we are expecting great results for the 2019 testing season. Mrs. McEwen.
Good evening, President Ambrose, trustees, Dr. Porter, executive team. As Dr. Porter stated tonight, we are going to present the Texas Academic Performance Report, or the TAPER, from last school year, from the 17-18 school year. The report is available on the TEA website. It's also available on our Port Arthur ISD website under the district tab, and then if you scroll down, there's a school report card accountability link, and it's there. It can also be accessed through campus libraries and offices. Okay, we'll start out with STAR reading, grade 3 through 8, and it has it disaggregated by grade. One thing to note is the bar for the white subgroup. Remember that that's a smaller number of students usually, and so sometimes the small number of students kind of skews the graph because there's not as many of them as in some of the other categories. So that's why sometimes they'll be really high, or sometimes they won't even register on the chart. So as we go through, sometimes you'll see a blank spot for that subgroup, but it's because of the small numbers. TEA is also very particular about masking small numbers of students so that students couldn't be identified on these public reports. So this is grade 3 through 8 reading performance. And the end of course, English language arts. This slide shows the scores, including the retesters, and these students have an opportunity, the students who have not met standard for English 1 or English 2 that's required for graduation, they have 3 times a year in in the spring, in the summer, and in December that they were able to retake the test until they were able to meet the standard. But we wanted to show you also on the next slide the first-time testers, because the first-time testers are the scores for most categories are higher, but for some students, like the special ed students, the ELL students, even throughout the other subgroups, sometimes having that second opportunity to retest, that they are able to meet the standard at the next time. So that's why we've included this breakdown. So we have the 3 through 8 mathematics performance. And all of these are at the percent approaches grade level or above. And this is the end of course mathematics, Algebra 1. Also, this is one of the subjects that the students are able to retest. So if they don't pass it one time and they take it the next, they get counted that they've met standard. Okay, this slide shows star 3 through 8 science performance. And the end of course, biology performance. And 3 through 8 social studies performance. This test is only taken at 8th grade. And then the U.S. history, the end of course U.S. history performance.
Question.
Yes, sir.
When you show all, you're showing the average of all three groups.
Of all the subgroups, of all the African American, Hispanic, white, special ed, economically disadvantaged. It does not report, the state report does not, for this presentation, does not include like the Asian students. It doesn't include several other of the smaller ethnic groups, but all students who have tested during that school year.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how we were coming up many times with the all being greater than the average of the smaller groups. I was trying to ascertain how it could be, all could be greater when you have less than the average of groups.
Right. Because each of the different subgroups have more students. So, like for example, the African American subgroup and the Hispanic subgroup are very large numbers of students, but the numbers of the white students are lower. The economically disadvantaged subgroup covers a large majority of our students. The special ed population is smaller and the ELL population. So it's figured on the actual number of tests across all the subgroups and then the number of students that meet standard from those. So we can't average, we have to go back and average all the tests with all the students. They're all combined. So it really doesn't average out. It doesn't average out because of the numbers in the different categories. Does that make sense?
No.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So,
I'm trying to grasp it. Superintendent will explain to me. I'm sure.
Yeah, we can.
Most of them are all the same people, right?
right, a lot of times they are because the special ed students could be across there. The ELL students are included, and they're also included in the Hispanic category.
And they also could be special ed.
They also could be special ed, so they could be counted in more than one category. Yes,
Is
sir.
that a standard to have them counted in more than one category?
That's how the state does it.
Okay.
So it's good if they're doing well. It helps us. If they aren't doing quite as well, it kind of hurts us. But that's why every student matters, and then we're pushing every student to do the best they can do. So this one shows the STAR 3 through 8 writing performance. And just to note that the scores across the state were a little bit lower this year. And so our scores dropped a little bit, but we saw that across the state that they went down a little bit. We don't know if it was a difference in the test or how. It was kind of unexpected. So. Okay, this one shows all grades, all subjects, and it also references from the state scores, Region 5 scores, and then the district scores for comparison. And then all grades for reading. All grades for mathematics. All grades for writing. All grades for science. And all grades for social studies. Okay, this is a new category for this year, the measuring the progress for academic growth. So this is for 4 through 8 reading. Third grade is not included in this because that third grade is the first year that they test. So the third year progress shows up for the next year in 4th grade. So it moves up. It moves up, 4th to 5th, 5th to 6th, like that. This is the academic growth for English 2. They look at English 1 scores from last year, and then if the students make improvement when they take, it's a similar test, a similar type test for English 2. And then 4 through 8 mathematics. Then end of course algebra. And that score for the 8th grade math shows the growth for algebra 1. And then once again the comparison with the state, region, and district for the all grades for ELA and reading for the academic growth. And all grades for mathematics. And then for both subjects. The academic growth measure is only measured for the reading and the math subjects. It's not measured for science or writing or social studies. This slide shows the attendance, and it's always a year behind. Excuse me. So this is for the 16-17 school year. This one, excuse me, shows the annual dropout rate for grade 7 and 8, and also these are also for the year behind for the 16-17 school year. And once again, for the white subgroup, there's fewer number of students. So so the percentage is based on the number of students, and so that kind of skews the graph. This one is for the dropout rate for grades 9 to 12. And this one is the 4-year longitudinal graduation rate. The state measures the graduation rates in different. They use different measures, and for different reports that they do. So this one is based on the students who enter 9th grade, and then that they've graduated in 4 years. So the ninth grade cohort affects the 4-year longitudinal graduate. Interesting was that if one of our ninth graders goes to another Texas school, they transfer into their ninth grade cohort. Or if one comes, I guess if they were 10th, 11th, or 12th graders, then they transfer into our cohort. So it's not always our students. Some of our students, as they move back and forth, but I didn't realize that the cohort, that they stay in a cohort as long as they stay in a high school in Texas, which I thought was interesting. And so this one shows they received the TXCHSE is the Texas Certificate of High School Equivalencies. And right now we don't have any of those right now. But it also shows the ones who continued high school or that dropped out. And this is for the 5-year extended graduation rate. Like I said, the students in the 9th grade that go to the 4-year, they stay in for the next year's, they stay for the 5-year extended graduation, longitudinal graduation rate, and also into the 6-year extended longitudinal graduation rate. So we're tracking those students from when they were freshmen to see if they graduated in 4 years or 5 years or sometimes 6 years. They're able to get their diploma during that time. And this is the 6th year. Okay, this one is the 4-year federal graduation rate without exclusions. And what the exclusions are is if they were maybe incarcerated or in a juvenile detention facility, or if they're special ed and they're over 18, but they haven't finished their IEP goals yet. So the federal government takes that into, it reports it one way, and then this one is without the students included, without the exclusions. Okay, this is for the TSI College Ready graduates. And TSI is an assessment that the colleges are using to help for part of their entrance exams now. And this one is for English language arts. And this one shows for mathematics and for both subjects.
Would you go back to the slide you just left, please, Mary? Thank you, guys.
Okay. And that one was for both subjects. And this slide shows the average SAT score for all subjects for the class of 2017. Once again, it's a year behind. And then the average ACT score for all subjects.
Now, when you look at these, most of the scores, if you go, we're right with the pie chart. Pie. When you look at these scores, when you look at the comparison, it's different. The scores that you looked at prior, the district and the state were almost comparable with 3 to 40%. But when you look at these comparisons, it shows a big difference. Go ahead, Ms. McKeon, from when we compare ourselves with the state.
Right. And the student demographics shows economically disadvantaged English language learners, the disciplinary placements, and the at-risk students compared the district to the state percentages. This slide shows the teacher ethnic distribution, both for the district and for the state, for comparison.
it is vice versa. You know, you have the 43% African Americans in our district, but if you look at the state, there's only 10%. 39% were Hispanic, and for the state, it's 58. So we're really, really off there.
And this slide shows the 2018 school year of the teachers with their years of experience compared to the state. And the 2018 enrollment by program for these programs. The Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board requires us to, with the TAPER report, it includes the performance in post-secondary institutions during the first year after graduation from high school. And it includes the total number of graduates, disaggregated by their attendance in institutes of higher education, and the number of students within each GPA reporting band. And this is from the graduates from 2016 during the fiscal year 2017. One thing to note on the not trackable, or even possibly some of the not founds, if they attend a college out of state, this report doesn't pick that up. So there could be some other students who are attending colleges in other states that it doesn't show in this report because it's just the Texas report.
And then the 164, we just have absolutely no way to find it.
Mm-hmm. And they may be enrolled in some other type of trade or apprentice type program. Just this report only tracks certain ones.
This, McKenna, we can go back to the first pie chart. The ethnicities of our students. Student ethnicity. If you look at for instance, our African Americans in Port Arthur, well, Hispanics in Port Arthur are 49.5%, and we're 41% African Americans. Look at the state. Out of 5 million students, you have 52% Hispanic, only 12% African Americans. In the state of Texas, it's kind of different. So you wonder where they're going. Out of 5 million students. Yeah. But it's totally, it flips, you know, it really is a difference. You know. The Asians are about the same, 3.5 in our district and 4.4 in the state. But just very interesting, very interesting. But 52%, that's over, as I said, we have 5 million students, so over half of the students in Texas are Hispanic and growing. Thank you, Ms. McKinley.
Sorry. One other report that's always included is the PEAMS financial report for the 16-17 school year. And if you can scroll down a little bit, please, Mr. Parker. And this is based off the information that's submitted through the PEAMS data. And when you access the report online, if you scroll all the way down to the end of the report, there's a link. There's a link that'll pull it up so you can study it closer. So, okay. You put the back on there. Okay.
And as I say, these are scores from last year, and April 9th, we'll be testing again. So we're preparing to start the testing season up once again, so it'll be okay. We'll be okay.
Is there any public comment that would like to be made at this time regarding our performance report? Any public comment at all? If there is no public comment, then we will adjourn the public hearing on the Texas Academic Performance Report. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Now close the meeting under the authority of the Texas Government Code, sections 551.071, 551.074, and 551.082. The board will meet in a closed meeting to consult with attorney regarding pending or contemplated litigation regarding settlement offers and other legal matters, and which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the state bar of Texas are clearly covered by attorney-client privilege. Consider personnel recommendations, Texas Government Code 551.074 as follows. Consider and if appropriate approve employment of teachers. Consider and if appropriate approve the proposed termination of a professional employee. It is now 5:56. We will adjourn into closed session. Thank you. Trustee Reed has joined us. Open meeting 7 o'clock. Public participation, we have none. Minutes, consider and if appropriate approve minutes of the January 24, 2019 board meeting. Is there a motion? Second. Motion by Trustee Lawson, second by Vice President Brown. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Consent agenda. Trustees, if you will take the opportunity to review consent agenda items 1 through 13. If there's any questions or concerns, please let them be known at this time. We'll give you a few minutes just to peruse those items. 1 through 13, the consent agenda. If there's no questions or concerns, I'd like to call for a motion. Motion by Trustee Reed. Second by Secretary Barty. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. The consent agenda for items 1 through 13 are approved. Personnel, Dr. Porter.
Yes, trustees, I have given you the list of employees for your consideration, applicants for your consideration.
Trustees.
Madam President, I make a motion that we accept the approval of employment of teachers.
There's a motion by Trustee Frank, second by Secretary Barty. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Consider and appropriate approve proposed termination of a professional employee.
Madam President, I approve the proposed termination of a professional employee.
Motion by Vice President Brown. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Reed. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The item is approved. Information, Dr. Porter.
Average daily enrollment, 8235, 8,235. Average daily attendance, 93.30%.
Trustees, any questions or concerns? If not, I'll call for an adjournment. Motion for adjournment.
Motion.
Second.
Well, motion by Trustee Frank, second by everybody else. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
I said aye. She said aye.
Right now, Ms.